out on Pretty Boy Reservoir with Mike Beck of Beck's Gunsmithing, and he's going to take me out on his rig that's set up with the Cruise 10.0. Mike, you mind giving us sort of an overview of your boat here?
That's 16.5-foot C&F fishing machine. 35 years old, so it's about to retire and go to a more efficient haul. What we discovered over 40 years of competitive fishing is the John boat square bow is the most efficient haul, and that's what we're going to go to here. It makes about a 1 to 2 mile an hour difference in top performance. Yeah, we're using 4 of the 26104 lithium batteries by Torqeedo, and that gives us ample run time. We can cruise the entire lake from end to end and back to the reservoir, to the ramp at 10 miles an hour, no problem. The top end speed on this boat with just myself in it is 16.5 to 17 miles per hour. Cruising speed, generally with 2 people in it in a tournament, we'll get our boost at 11 to 12 miles an hour, and then she'll settle back to 10, and we can cruise pretty safely from about 9 miles an hour to do both ends of any of the reservoirs and have ample run time.
Mike, talk to me about the performance you've seen in other boats in different designs with this Cruise 10.0.
This same exact rig by myself, topping out at 16.5, 17 for 30 seconds. After the boost, it comes down to 13 to 14, depending on the day. On an 18-foot, that 96 inches wide, 72-inch bottom. Same parameters. You can put 2 people in the boat and get the same performance, basically. That much more efficient. Generally, with this hull compared to a square bow John boat, there's a good average 1 mile an hour difference loaded 1 for 1. The John boat, 1 person in it, normal aggregation of tackle, they'll top out at 17 to 18. I top out 16 to 17. When I come down to my cruise speed, say it's going to be around 13, they're going to stay 14 to 14 and a half.
So Mike, how many Torqeedo installs have you done over the years?
Wow. I don't know. I don't have a clue. Since they've come out, I think I jumped on board with them about the 2nd year of their production, and I've probably done 40, 50 myself, and then there's a whole lot of them out here that are very knowledgeable about electronics and so forth and do their own installs. So I'd have to do some digging on my records to see how many we've done. Today's the first day of goose season. You hear the shooting in the background.
I do.
But yeah, the 10.0s are interesting. Most of those guys installed all their own, and I think it was a count of 10 as of last year, and we sold 2 this year. So the initial burst out there, and now we have another half a dozen guys that I've talked to recently that are looking to see how their motors perform over the 2-year period before they put their money into one. And to date, actual failures out of the 10.0 have been 0. All of them have been running. Any of them that had any issue were things that the customer was doing, and we worked with them to figure out what it was and straighten that out. And we did have 2 issues that were using other than Torqeedo batteries. They were using another product and were not able to feed the data cable and provide that pertinent information to the 10.0. Is getting confused. But that, and I think a little bit of the quality issue with the batteries. So we did take one of those motors, and I physically took my batteries and put on his motor and instantly cured his problems. So there was an issue there with compatibility between other lithium batteries. Other than that, it's been flawless.
You got one?
I have a nice one.
That thing's staying down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I see some color.
Oh
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Nice job, Mike. Ooh. Look at that.
Give them a chance to eat it. They were fishing a 4-inch pocket crawl, Texas rigged, and it's one of their favorites. Doesn't matter what I like, they like it.
Mike, how do people find you if they want you to rig a boat up for them?
I've got a web page set up, and 90% of my business comes through that and word of mouth. If they want to contact me, phone number is 410-357-5767. And on the web, look for Beck's Gunsmithing.
So Mike arranged for me to get out on the boat of one of his customers. It has what he says is a more efficient hull design and just overall setup compared to his. Let's go take a look and see what the maximum speed and range at different speeds is going to be.
Now I want to introduce my partner in the tournaments out here. We fished the EBA together, John Schaefer.
How you doing?
And this is his 18-foot rig. That's what, John, 96 inches wide?
It's 72 at the bottom. It's 93 inches at the top. It is a well-crafted boat. I've had the aluminum size down from 100 gauge material to 80 to lighten it up. And we've also cut 6 inches off the height of the boat, which would be the standard boat size. So we did the best we could with lightening it up. Put a light gauge aluminum floor in it. As light as I could go with a battery box in the back. Our whole object was to build the lightest boat we could. John, why don't you open it up and give them a look at how you got your batteries arranged? All right.
Now, John's running a 6 battery bank of 26104 Torpedo batteries. And if you don't count them, there's 7 of them in there, because he runs all of his other accessories, bow mount, depth finders, live well, everything's going off of a separate 26104 battery.
Right, so I've actually got 3 banks of 48 volts paralleled together to give me plenty of run time even at the higher speeds. So now I've got more run time at higher speeds, which is what us tournament guys are really looking for. And then, like Mike was saying, I have an extra battery here that runs my 24 volt bow mount, and then I also have a voltage reducer hooked to the battery so that I can use that 24 volt battery to run all my 12 volt equipment from. So there is not a lead acid battery on this boat.
13.4, 13.6, 13.8, 13.9, 14 mile an hour, 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4. We're turning 14 and a half, 14.6. You get the idea. 14.6 is our top end, it looks like. At 1400, 14.
Yeah, that's more like we actually got the boost that time coming out here. That boost lasts for 30 seconds. That's when you're going to get your top end speed. It's meant to actually get you moving forward so that when it cuts back, now you're saving energy, which gives you longer run time, and then also it gets you moving in your direction. So after that, then you can be real steady at a speed probably on here with 2 of us on here. I can run a steady 12 mile an hour for probably with the battery bank I have for over an hour.
Well, let's try it. You're somewhere near, you're at 94%.
That's correct.
Let's take it up to, what'd you say, 12, and see what that range looks like. There's 12 mile an hour with a 10.9,000 watt draw. Let's take it down to 10 to see what kind of range we got. We had about 17 miles of range at that speed. So 12 mile an hour for 17 miles is pretty nice.
Real nice.
10 mile per hour, 89.68 is the watt draw. And how long do you run in one shot? Longest distance
on
in
Liberty
the tournaments you run?
On Liberty Reservoir, we're running about 9 miles in one direction before we stop to start fishing if we run to the opposite end of the reservoir from the ramp.
Okay.
Today, all the readings we took at our high speed was 14.5 miles an hour. That's with 2 of us in the boat. So weight sensitive is everything. That's why we try and get a lighter boat that sits on top of the water more. The more weight you can keep out of the boat, obviously the faster you're going to go. So with me alone, I'll gain 1.5 miles an hour without the cameraman in here for sure. So
So we're out here on the water testing to get maximum speed, and Mike has a customer come over and say he had actually just put that Cruise 10.0 on last week, and the customer came over and let him know he was having a little bit of cavitation. Let's talk with him and see what he's able to figure out. But I would say that's part of the value of getting it from someone like Mike's business, Beck's Gunsmithing, is that you're going to get someone who will help you through the process, and if you're not getting the performance you think you should, there's someone who is an expert who can help you through that.
All right, we had severe cavitation because of the height of the transfers. We had to pull the pin, let the motor all the way in, and with this chop on the water today, we're just getting a small amount every now and then. May have to end up putting the jack plate on, let her down about an inch and a half. That should cure the problem. It's really smoothed it out now. 3 people in the boat were able to run 11.5 miles an hour.
All right, well, we're wrapping up. John, I appreciate you taking me out and showing me.
Well,
17.4 is the maximum he got by himself, and we were running what? 12, and then
12 and a half.
I think we had what, 14.7. So 17.4 is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
so
sure.
pretty cool.
when I'm on the boat fishing myself all the time, 17 is a very common number I get. If you have a flat water, which is a little breezy today with some chop, but if the water gets flatter, I can kick it up another 0.5 mile an hour possibly. So and the run time with using 3 banks of 48 volts parallel together, I have all the run time I need, so I'm not scared to use that speed to get from place to place and worry about running out of battery. So it works out very well for me.